Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tia here. If you are new, please like and subscribe. But for today's video, I'm going to be telling you about my piercing experience. So basically, there is a usual place I go to for my piercings, but I went to their sister shop instead. It is like a combination of a piercing place and a tattoo place. So as soon as I walked in, I saw that there was like some old ass man standing there, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, should I turn around and walk out? What am I doing? And I signed up the forms and everything, gave him my ID, and then the guy at the desk said that it would be $90. And I was like, $90 just to get like my third hole done on both ears? Because he said it was like $45 per hole. And I was like, that sounds like a ripoff, right? Because I didn't even say like what type of jewelry I wanted or like anything like that. But I'm thinking like that just seems ridiculously expensive for a regular hole, right? So then I paid the $90 and I was like, whatever, because I don't know. And then the old man, he told me to come into the room. So I walk in, I sit down, whatever, and then there's like a whole bunch of like drawers and shelves, basically like this tall, and he's there like opening every single drawer, like looking for like the basic piercings, I guess, which are these ones. They have like the little ball on the end, and he was looking for those, and he was like, oh, I can't find it. I was like, what do you mean by that? And me, I try to like, I was making small talk, but at the same time I didn't want to be too obvious to where I'm like, do you know what the fuck you're doing? So I was kind of just like, oh, like, how long have you been in this studio for? He was like, yeah, only like a couple weeks. Like, this isn't my studio. Like, I don't know where the other girl puts like all the things. And I was like, oh, because it was weird to me, because literally all the drawers were labeled. Like, it would say like, belly button piercing, titanium, like literally everything was labeled. So I'm like, what do you mean he can't find the little basic balls or whatever, right? So it took him a while, and then he had to ask for help. So he went to the front desk guy, and he was like, yeah, I can't find like the little basic ones, so like, what else can I give her? So then he came back to me with like all of the little studs on the little thing that I could choose from. And I was like, oh, I can choose from any of these? And he was like, yeah, because I'm not going to charge you more because I just can't find the other ones. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess it's like a good thing, because I got these blue ones right here, but it's a step up than getting the one with the ball on it, right? So I was like, oh, at least I didn't have to pay extra, because I already paid $90, right? So then once I told him I wanted these, he basically had like a couple Q-tips on his little tray, and then he had like a cup of like saline solution, I'm guessing, and that was pretty much it, right? And then he took the earrings out. I don't even think he sanitized the earrings for real. And then he drew like the little dot on my ear with like a little pen, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I've seen it done before, like, this is how the other place does it or whatever, right? So he took the pen, measured out the holes, and I was looking at them if they were even, and I was like, yeah, I mean, they're pretty even, right? And then he was like, yeah, the person who did your second holes, like, those were uneven, so I lined up your third holes evenly. And I was like, oh, okay. So I mean, like, they look pretty even to me, but I don't think my second holes are off, but I know my first holes are off, because my first ones I got done when I was a baby, and they've always been uneven, right? So I knew that was gonna mess up all of my other ones, and that's why for the longest time it took me forever to get a second hole, because I knew it was gonna be uneven, right? But now I'm on my third hole. So he made the dot, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And then when he came time to pierce them, he pierced them like with the hole. Like, this one was easy, he just stabbed my ear, didn't hurt or whatever, and then he put the earring in, whatever, right? But on this side, this one was difficult for him, because he stabbed the hole, and then all I hear is whoops, and I was like, but like, who wants to hear that when they're getting something permanent on their body? You are stabbing a hole into my body. The last thing I want to hear is whoops, So and then I guess he like hit the back of my head back here or whatever, but I didn't even feel it or whatever, right? And then he put the earring in, and then he went to put the back on, and these are the butterfly backs that you have to like screw on or whatever. So he tried putting the back on, and the first thing he did, he put it on like crooked, because like, if you don't put the back on straight, then it's crooked, right? So he had to like take it off, but it's hard to take off a butterfly screw back if you're putting it on crooked. So he was like yanking on my ear. He was like, oh, sorry, I'm just trying to like unscrew this back, it's like stuck. I'm like, oh, okay. And the whole time I'm making small talk with him. So basically he told me that he was in like stage 3 liver failure, and he has to take like 17 pills a day, and that's like affecting how he like talks and how he walks, and it's affecting his vision. And he said he has been piercing people for 25 years, and he did have like all of the piercings or whatever, but now he took them out. And then he was saying that his pills, like the most expensive pill, costs like $4,000. Like I don't know if that's every 6 months or a year, I don't know, but basically that's what he's doing. And all of that, what I got from that is like, dang, so you're losing your eyesight and you are stabbing holes into people's bodies. Oh, okay. So yeah, and his hands were like really shaky too, so that's why I was afraid that the holes were gonna be like crooked or whatever. Or you know, like when you pierce a hole, you want to pierce it like straight, so that way when the person is putting in their earring, you just put in your earring straight, you know, so that way like if you're putting in the earring, you don't have to like search for like the exit, you know. So who knows, they look like decently straight. And he also dropped the back a couple times, like after he was like finally got that butterfly back off, and then he went to put it back on, he dropped it, it went down my shirt, and I had to like, oh, I had to like, you know, pick it up and give it back to him, and he didn't clean it off again, and then he dropped it again, but it landed like in the chair somewhere, so I had to pick it up, give it back to him. And I'm like, bro, you were, first of all, you're just extremely clumsy, like too clumsy to be piercing people, right? Second of all, you're not even cleaning things properly, you know. So it was like kind of a bad experience. Like he, like I could tell he knew what he was doing, because he was talking about like the measurements of the bar and everything. And then I asked him if it was bleeding or whatever, because sometimes I do bleed when I get piercings, and he was like, no, you're not bleeding, like I used like, you know, this like a 16 gauge needle or what, like, you know. So he was like, he knows the specifics because he has been doing it for 25 years. But the whole overall experience, like I could tell he's a decent guy. And you know, I tried to make him like feel better or whatever, because I'm a nice person, because I'm not gonna be like, bro, like, do you know what the fuck you're doing, you know. I'm not gonna say that to his face. I don't know, I just felt bad for him. But then, like, you know, they turned out pretty decent, so I was like, oh, never coming back here. And what's funny is that when I went to that location before too to get my lower back tattoo, that guy Loki effed it up too, like it's kind of crooked or whatever. So I don't know if it's just like when men do things they just mess up, or they're like rougher or whatever. But every time a man has done one of my tattoos, is like it's been poop. Or like this recent guy who did the piercings, like the piercings aren't poop, but just the experience overall, I was worried like the whole time, you know. But yeah, so that was the experience at the first place, right? And then I was gonna get a different piercing there as well, but then once the guy said that the piercings were like $45 each, I was like, oh, never mind. And then I saw that old man, I was like, never mind. I just let him do my third hole, right? So afterwards I drove to this other place I used to go to, and I think they're called like Finders Keepers Body Piercing or whatever. But I looked on their website and it was hella expensive, like $100 per hole basically. I'm like, what the fuck? So I left. I was like, let me try a new place, right? So I went to Google's Maps, typed in like, you know, piercing places near me, and then it took me to this other place which is really local to where I am, like literally like 10 minutes from my house, right? And I was like, oh, you know, I heard that this place was by my house, but I didn't know it was literally in this location. So as soon as I parked there, I went in, it was totally empty, but it was like, it had that nice clean vibe to it. And it was like an anime themed place. Like they had like anime posters all over the wall, and like the stickers and blah blah blah, right? All the different characters and stuff like that, right? That's the whole theme of the place. And I walked in, this young woman greeted me. She's probably about like, you know, mid-20s, my age or whatever. And I was like, oh, thank God it's a woman, first of all, and secondly, thank God it's a young person, so they know, like, you know, we can use the different lingo and like blah, blah. You know, I feel like younger people are just better at explaining things, because she had her whole face filled with piercings, right? So then I walk in and I'm like, yeah, I wanted to get I said a flat right here, and then change out my tragus piercing, and then reopen up this hole that closed. And she was like, okay, bet. And you know, all of that came to like $150, and I was like, what the fuck? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it's probably not really worth it anyways, but it's mostly because of the jewelry that I got, right? But anyways, she explained the jewelry to me, the sizing, like the placement. She was like very thorough with her information, because I told her I've never been there before, right? Because even though I do have multiple piercings, it doesn't mean I know everything about piercings. And she explained everything, and then she's like, okay, like let me go back and, you know, clean everything, right? So it took her a while to clean everything, maybe like 15 minutes to get the room set up. And then once I sat in there, she explained everything to me. And for my tragus piercing, I had my original bar in here. Like I had like a moon shaped piercing that was like had a long bar, and it was really annoying when I would wear my AirPods there, right? Because then it would like look like it's falling out my ear. So she changed it to this shorter one, and even though it is like a basic piercing, like with a little ball or whatever, it does have a flat back, and it's like really short. So now it doesn't even bother me when I have my headphones in there. So I was like, thank God, right? And then she gave me this little flower piercing in this cartilage. And I don't know if she got mixed up by what I said, because initially I said I wanted this flower piercing where this flat is right here, and I wanted this little ball right here where the cartilage is. But I think she got me mixed up, or I don't know if maybe you just can't pierce, like you can't give people like new piercings, like a new one in a new hole or something. Maybe you have to start with the little ball or whatever. But yeah, so she put this one in here and reopened this hole, and this one low-key hurt the most because she has to like, you know, stretch it open or whatever. So this piercing cost like $65, and the reason this one closed is because I kept like taking it out and putting it back in, blah blah blah. So I'm definitely gonna keep this flower in here, because this one it has a flat back, so it's not gonna be annoying or anything. So I'm literally gonna leave that in there so it doesn't close up for the third time. And then she pierced my flat piercing. This low-key hurts. Like when I was getting it done, it didn't hurt, but then like a couple hours later I was like, oh, like what, my head is literally throbbing. Or even if I like if I pull on my scalp a little bit, like pull one of my braids like that, I can feel it like all the way in my ear, you know. But overall it was kind of easy. She was saying that my ears are really small, so that's why she didn't put it higher, because then the back of the piercing would be like hitting my skull or whatever. So that's why she put it like a bit lower. But I don't know, for me, I feel like they're low-key the same as cartilage piercings. Like, this is supposed to be a flat, but does it not look like these cartilage ones I have over here, you know? Or maybe these are just closer to the edge, I guess. But even still. And I think there's like another piercing, I don't know if it's called like a helix or something, but it's like really on the edge, and like people wear hoops in those. I don't know, but it's gonna be cute when I can put like something like really big there that like takes up the whole entire space pretty much. And then I also want to get I don't know what this one is called, but it's like through the back, and then it's like right here, and then you can put like a little hoop across here. That's what I want to. But then people be saying that like these be taking a long time to heal and stuff, so I don't know. Also, initially I didn't want another tragus on this side, but now that I have this one and it's like fully healed, like it healed really fast, right? And I just never changed it out in like 3 years, because it's just really hard to change myself. So now that I have this one and it has a flat back and I'm comfortable putting my headphones in there, now I low-key want to get a tragus on this side too. Even though like I don't really care about stuff being like symmetrical and stuff, but overall I had a good experience with that girl, and I'm definitely gonna go back. Like that's gonna be my new piercing spot. Like I would want her to do like my septum in the future, and like, you know, my future ear piercings and stuff. I don't know, people be saying like I would look good with the eyebrow piercing too. I don't think so, in my opinion. I know I would look good with the one lip one that's like right in the middle, but that would bother me like when I'm putting on like my lip gloss and stuff. So that's why I don't want to get that one. But yeah, it's been a long journey, and I know like my piercings, they look basic or whatever, especially because I don't have like like the good looking jewelry, how they're like all silver or all gold or whatever, but I like mixing my stuff up and being like really colorful, even though like, you know, it's like a basic little set, but I like it. But yeah, that was it for this video about my piercing experience. Stay tuned for more videos. Bye.